Hello, dear friends. Welcome to Cardiac Radio at 11 p.m., nourishing our souls with one more immortal messages. Welcome as we learn in another message by another illuminated mind, lessons that we'll never forget and that will certainly empower us to a better life. Today, André Luiz, the spirit doctor, comes to us to explain about mediumship meetings. Who is André Luiz? André Luiz is the very author of the book No Solar Our Home. If you haven't watched, that's your opportunity to go to Netflix or to Amazon and Amazon Prime, I think. You can find the movie No Solar. Beautiful, just beautiful. Our Home, Astro City. And in that book, we're going to find in the book, movie, the reality of ours in the continuity of life. And Andre Luis talks about his life, how surprised he was in the afterlife. He didn't prepare himself enough. He wasn't religious. He didn't cultivate spirituality. He was a famous doctor, a physician, but not very compassionate. And he tells about so many lessons. And if it's not enough, he kept writing through Chico Xavier, books such as The Messengers, and then Missionaries of the Light, and then Between Heaven and Earth, and then we're going to see Liberation, and then Workers of the Life Eternal, Liberation, Sex and Destiny, in the domains of mediumship. And then we see him writing books such as Evolution into Worlds, Mechanisms of Mediumship, and Life Goes On, besides other books. In this series, which you can find at Feb Publisher, febpublisher.org, or go to Amazon, you will find these books that are deeply, deeply, deeply illuminating. Andre Luis is this adorable spirit doctor that tells about his humanity, and he brings so much hope because he learned so much. He comes to tell us about this everlasting learning opportunity that you have and that I have. And we owe much to him. In this book, Psychophonic Instructions, we have already studied two messages that he told us before. Today, he's going to talk about mediumship. Very practical. He has 10 bullet points for us. He actually numbered them 1 to 10, talking about special observations when we do these obsession meetings specifically. But he talks about mediumship meetings in general. All right. So welcome. I can see wonderful friends joining us here, and a big hug to each and every one of you. And I'll say, I miss you guys, especially the ones that I don't see either through the internet or personally in the center. I miss you. It's so good to be with you. I am praying that soon we'll be together, hugging each other and continue these works to help those who are suffering the most, right? Welcome, welcome, welcome. And let's pray today. I have to say, this program is being recorded, and maybe you're going to watch this on demand. Today's Memorial Day. We can't help it but to say it's not a happy day, because we're talking in the United States about those who discarnated in the battlefields, in wars. It's sad, but we need to pray for them. Not only if you are in the United States or you were born American, but all of us. It's a day to pray for people who defended their country. And especially, we're talking about the United States of America, a country that we owe much. We can't forget the plan of the Christ to make this the brain of the planet. As a neuroscientist, I say the brain is gorgeous. It's all about the feelings that we process in the brain, all about the high functions, the instinctive functions. It's so beautiful. But we need to keep it oxygenized with beautiful ideas. And there are no better ones than the good news, the gospel, the Christ consciousness. May the Christ consciousness bless all the whole United States of America, all the nations in the world, and especially those who discarnated in the battlefields. We feel for them. We hope that we can be of help. And let us see how in mediumship we can be of help. Shall we, friends? Are you ready? Yes, you are. This was a meeting on January 27th, 1955. Andre Luiz, through Chico Xavier, receives this psychophonic communication, meaning speaking communication. And he says, and Arnaldo Rocha says, after the helping of the discarnated spirits, Andre Luiz came and offered us interesting notes for like guidelines for mediumistic meetings. Andre Luiz says, this is Andre Luiz saying, friends. He says friends. Friends cooperating in some way in our tasks. We will record some notes here today, which we suppose of real interest for our usual mediumistic meetings. Number 1, turn on the light of love and prayer in your own spirit if you wish to be useful to the discarnate sufferers. 2, receive the visit of the companion lost in the shadows, embracing with sincerity a brother in the pathway. 3, do not expose the unhappy communicators' wounds to public curiosity, assisting that discarnate spirit in a private environment as if you were assisting a sick relative in the privacy of your own home. 4, do not condemn or be angry. Number 5, do not criticize or hurt. 6, do not speak of death to the spirit that does not know it, clearing the road with patience so that he discovers the reality by himself. 7, talk with precision and affection, substituting the precious ramblings and the long speeches with the feeling of pure brotherhood. 8, cooperate with the spiritual counselor and the medium, sending them thoughts and vibrations of help, understanding, and sympathy without expectation of miraculous solutions. 9, do not forget the distance, the balance, the peace, and the joy, so that the suffering brother and sister finds balance, peace, and joy in you. 10, do not forget that every spiritual visit is very important. Remembering that in the relief given by us to those who suffer, we are receiving from life the help we need in elevating us as valuable teaching, which we must assimilate in the regeneration or elevation of our own destiny. Okay? Yeah, this is it. He said that. Seems simple, but it's not. Let's go to number 1. You think, mediumistic meetings, and people think it's about hard work. It's hard work. Yes, it's a work of our reasoning, but we need to turn on the light of love and prayer. It's not like, yeah, you may be like good, like self-controlled, but if you do not have empathy, that's not a meeting. So we would say, when he says, turn on the light of love and prayer, empathy. What is your level of empathy? Do you know empathy? What is your level of empathy? What is it? If you Google it, you're going to find several tests. And I would encourage you to do this, no matter which test, because we need to dig deeper and see where we are. Empathy is one of the most important human virtues. And the opposite of empathy is what? Psychosis, right? It's when we don't see the other one. We don't see the needs of the people. So we need to be empathetic. So that's why he's saying, turn on the light of love and prayer. And of course, prayer, we're not alone. If we wish to be useful, it's not about us, but the element inside of us is to feel the pain and the anguishes of the spirits. The second one, he says, receive the visit of this companion with sincerity, because usually it's almost like robotic. People are like, yeah, we can do these things robotically, like physicians, right? Some physicians, they feel you, they look at you. Others, they look at you like it's like it could be anybody. Anybody. They don't empathize. So we really need to embrace with sincerity. Do we really care? I remember Mentor Joseph saying to us once, why do you care about the invisible if you don't care about the visible? Not that we don't, but he was saying, people need to think about this. Do we care about the ones we see in our homes, in our own group? Do we see the suffering and the pains of one another? Do we reach out to one another? Because how are we going to be sincerely embracing the pains of those whom majority of people don't see besides the mediums, if we don't care about the pains and the sorrows of those who are in the meeting? Another thing is discretion. Number 3, he says, be discreet. Don't bring these teachings to the people. Like, for example, you have husband, wife, friends, colleagues, and then you go home and you start saying, oh, you have no idea what the spirits are saying in the mediumistic meetings. Oh, there was a funny case. No, please don't. They know it. That's not good. We can't do that. So that's why he says, in this empathy, do not condemn the spirit. Like, how come this spirit is so stubborn? Do not condemn, do not criticize. Do not be angry. Do not hurt the spirit. And it's funny he's saying this, because you say, it's so obvious. It's not. I've seen things, not here in our center, but elsewhere. I've heard stories. You know, there are stories of people in spiritist centers in Brazil where people have cages and they say that they are going to imprison the spirits in cages. But of course, you can't do this. but they threaten the spirit. And they say, now I'm going to imprison you in the cage. And they do. It's crazy to say, but it's true. This is one crazy story that I've heard, and it's true. So that's not how it works. Do not speak of death. Many of them come here and they don't know that they're dead. We can't tell them, but you're dead. Oh, I feel cold, but you're dead. You're not feeling cold. They're like, but I am cold. I'm not dead. And people are saying, no, but you died. I didn't die. We don't say it. Why? Because it's not kind. Look at the book and life goes on. By the way, the whole book is already in the SoundCloud. You can go to SoundCloud Cardiac Radio and it's a podcast, right? You can go there and listen to the whole book, okay? It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And life goes on. And this book shows to us that after discarnation, Evelyn and Ernesto, they are in the spiritual realm and they have no idea they have discarnated. The nurses and the doctors don't say anything. And they are agitated. They're like, something is happening. This doesn't look familiar. And they try talking to other people until they find out. But even though they are in a spiritual colony in a hospital, they are not given the information abruptly. So why are we going to do this here? Why? We can't. The other thing is talk with precision. Now for the counselors. Be precise with affection and cut the long speeches. You know, when we try to preach to the spirit, don't. As a psychologist, that's what we do. We talk to the person. We ask questions. Let them answer. And then we can guide the thoughts to another direction, but without preaching. Right? I'll give an example. When the spirits say, oh, that person I'll never forgive because they killed my family. And then the counselor comes, oh, but Jesus said that we have to forgive 70 times 7. For God's sakes, we don't talk like this. Why? Because if you go to a therapist and the therapist say that, we say thank you, but no thank you, and you leave. That's not how it works. So how do you talk to the spirit? It's not even kind to do this because it looks like we know better and we don't. What if we were in their condition? So that's why empathy is so important. We look and say, okay, you are saying that you can't forgive. We understand, but can you tell us more why it's so difficult? It's so difficult because they stole my whole family's money. They killed my loved ones. Yeah, that's very hard. You're right. But remember, you are there, and wherever they are, time went on. Do you want to make justice with your hands? Yes, I do. And do you think it's worthwhile? Yes, I do. Are you sure? Do you think you're happy now? And they're like, I don't care. Are you sure? Look around. Who do you think brought you here? Somebody who loves you, who thinks you probably will be better off renewing yourself than making justice with your hands. Don't you think so? And then the good spirits allow him or her to see a mother, or a loved one who brought them there. So we are not disputing feelings. We can't dispute feelings. We need to allow them to bring those feelings out, and then we are going to gently say, okay, it's like a muscle. When you bring to the massage therapist and there's a knot, you massage it until you untie that knot. Little by little. We can't go abruptly and say, and impose, boom, you have to forgive. But come on, even if you say kindly, that doesn't help. So we need to allow the catharsis of emotions, like the throwing up. They say it, they elaborate, and we work with them little by little, right? Yay, Gabriel Inácio, listen to SoundCloud. Way to go. Go, Gabriel Inácio. Yes, we have a team working so hard. Ney Sampaio, Karina Alice, and others, and myself, to feed those beautiful playlists. And I tell you, more than 4,000, more, almost 4,200 tracks there available, all different kinds of books and programs from the past, from all these 9 years at Cardiac Radio, right? It's yeah. So friends, right now, Andre Luiz is teaching us that we talk with precision and affection. Let's say another spirit comes and say, but I'm never gonna forgive that person because she killed me because she wanted my husband. Okay, that is hard. You can say, agree with you. That's hard. We're sorry that this happened. But you see, you're alive. I know, but she's gonna pay. Okay. You know that according to God, whatever we do, our conscience registers. And we're the ones who have the harshest judge within. One day when she wakes up, she's gonna suffer. No, but I wanted her to suffer now. And aren't you suffering more by doing that? I don't care. Are you sure? We can feel that you are suffering. By making her suffer, do you think it's going to relieve your pain? Look around. Who brought you here? Somebody who loves you much. And then the spirits make miracles. So beautiful. It's so deeply beautiful. And they are embraced. They are taken to their new steps. They are freer to begin anew. But we don't need long speeches. All right? And then Andre Luiz says, cooperate with the spirit counselor and the medium. Aha, this is for everybody who is in the supporting part of the mediumship and everybody else. I am the medium, somebody is the counselor, the exchange is happening. What does everybody else do? They send thoughts and vibrations of help, understanding, sympathy, without expectations of miracle solutions. As St. Augustine has said, people are the way they are. They do the things the way they do, and we're not going to change them. Our goal in mediumistic meeting is not spiritual plastic surgery. It's not. People are not going to come there and leave. No, this book, Psychophonic Instruction, shows us that it takes time. But we need to give our helping hand. It's like somebody who comes and says, I have this headache. Okay, sit down here. Take this glass of water. Drink it. I still feel it. It's okay, I'll give you some Advil. It didn't fix the root cause of the problem, but it brought some relief. Maybe in another visit, the doctor is going to assess deeper. Where is this headache coming from? Let's work on it. But for now, we need relief. It's like when you go to emergency room. The doctor says, what are you feeling? Pain. And where? Here. But where are you feeling pain? Doesn't matter. Give a painkiller. And then we talk about the pain. Huh? Where it is, how it came about, because pain is pain. So sometimes you need 1 visit, 2 visits, 3 years. You never know. So that's why if the group cooperates, we can succeed. Now, yesterday in the program here, we talked about spiritual architects. And Efigênio Victor explained that in our preparatory phase, it's indispensable that we create vivid images of good things to help the discarnate spirits, that we visualize. So for the people who are holding the current, the supporting mediums, the rest of the group during the dialogue, it's important that we visualize these beautiful landscapes to help the ones who are in need. So he says here, do not forget the balance, the peace, and the joy, so we can emanate it to them. So that's why in our daily life, says Eugenio Vitor yesterday, we need all caution, the best material of our thoughts, words, attitude, and concepts to help the good spirits. Do not forget that these teachings don't come by chance, and that whatever we hear from them, we need to apply to ourselves. So if I go to these meetings, participate, and I hear the spirits talking about revenge, talking about the importance of forgiveness, I go home and that week I focus on that forgiveness, forgetfulness of all evil. By the way, in the book O Consolador, which is not translated yet into English, Emmanuel says that in order for us to succeed in our life on earth, we need to forget all evil, to forgive always, and cultivate the good. So forgiveness is all the more important. And this is some of the lessons we're going to hear the most in these mediumistic meetings. This is it. What is going to be our exercise for the next 24 hours? Empathy, because this is the number one. Line number one, turn on the light of love and prayer. Empathy. You and I will go to Google in the next 24 hours and take a test on empathy and see how you can refine your empathy, because to love is a step that happens when we feel empathy. We need to feel empathy to really be there and see what people need. That's going to be our exercise in the next 24 hours. See where we are in our empathy, because in our society, we're not encouraged to be empathetic. We're still encouraged to think of ourselves first. Very autistic. And I say this, quote unquote, with all the respect to those who have autism, but it's that distancing from somebody else's emotion. We need to come to empathy, and teach our children about the power of empathy. I remember in the Montessori schools, when Virginia was very little, one of the teachings of Maria Montessori, to teach children, asking them, they do something to a friend or to a family member, ask them, how do you think they're feeling when you do this? This is one of the ways that we can boost empathy. Because when we are not empathetic, we're going to reincarnate in very difficult conditions until we open our hearts and leave that crystallization of feelings. Okay? So since this is going to be our exercise in the next 24 hours, we're going to pray because he says, turn on the light of love and prayer. So we're going to turn on the light of prayer. We're going to pray. Let's pray. Prayer is always nourishment for our souls. Let me bring it here to us. A music that may be of help. Let me see. 1 second. Shall we, friends? Visualize André Luiz saying to us, turn on the light of love and prayer. Dear God, what a blessing to receive these instructions from André Luiz through Chico Xavier. Teachings that empower us so deeply. We thank you for trusting in us and sending these encouragers of the good. We want to be more empathetic and feel the pains of others so we can better be your instruments of love on earth. We're not afraid of being pathetic because that's not a weakness. The love we have inside of us comes from you. We're fully backed by you, by giving what you grant to us for free. Is never weakness. On the contrary, it's loving diligence to the life you granted us. May we be courageous in loving more, in feeling the pains of people, less materialistic, and easier in your hands. Please bless this night or this day. May we feel the hands of the loving spirit guides caressing our heads, bringing relief to our pains and sorrows, but mostly to the discarnate spirits who discarnated in the battlefields. We feel for them and we thank each and every one of them who gave their lives to defend our nation, to fight for freedom. We know that we still need it on earth, and we are sorry for the death of everyone in any battlefield in the world. And we pray that they feel the spirit doctors coming to their reach and relieving them from the uncertainty of that transition to the afterlife. May our homes receive your healing vibrations, spreading out to the neighbors. May the leaders of the world feel inspired to do the good always. In gratitude, we conclude this moment of reflection in your name, always. And so be it. Yes, friends. In the next 24 hours, we're invited to find out about our empathy, be more empathetic, see where we are and boost it up. And God willing, we'll be back tomorrow here at Kardec Radio with one more immortal message. Because at Kardec Radio, we're always nourishing our souls. Thank you, friends. Until tomorrow, God willing.